tick tock, time na money. Ori, me, check a shake yori. Lick it, come and take me away to the place of my desire. I don't wanna be late to the on the shit.
What's up, everybody? In fact, I want to start saying it's your favorite YouTube show, Lasgidi Effect.
You know, that's so.
Oh, yeah, but what's up, everybody? This is Lasgidi Effect.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. And as usual, now we have, men in the house, We have the Oracle Akuma. How's it going, brother? How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Last couple of weeks, days, though, I've just had a massive toothache. You can probably see from my left-hand side, it's a bit swollen.
Oh, it's a bit swollen. I see that.
Yeah, my tooth is just, it's been absolutely killing me. Been taking so much ibuprofen now, just to get by.
I blame us now for that. Any suffering you're experiencing, blame it on the club. Anyways, we also have Mossy Boy in the building. Mossy Boy, the buff man, the man who's always in the gym. How's it going, man?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Just same old, just chilling. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube channel. I can see a lot of people are gassing because we are in fourth place, but me, forget it.
You keep it real.
Mossy Boy keeps it real, and I
respect that because he's consistent. He's been consistently saying, "Don't pick us because it's for the job," and I respect that, and stuff like that. So
I also like that. Mossy Boy doesn't get easily excited,
Yeah, exactly.
So many of us have been excited at different points of saying Mossy Boy is saying nope.
Nope.
And he's been consistent with that. Anyways, because everyone, Osman Ali is here as usual. He starts the show off, with taking a swipe at Tade as usual. So he says, "Good week for Gunners. Youngsters showing up again like Saka, ESR, Gwemiga, Martinelli. Big up to the older heads who showed up like Laka, Mossy Boy, Akuma, and Xhaka." But he says, hopefully, Oba and Tade learn from this. Big up to you, Osman Ali, man. We have so much to talk about today. I can't lie. Big up to you as well. Sentiment. It says at least it wasn't Ghana or Swiss Albanian time. And it's okay. I think this is a reference to Xhaka and Thomas Partey. False image top 4. Okay, clearly he's not excited like you as well. He says Arteta the false image. But anyways, first of all, let's start with the most recent things. Last week on the show, right? Before we wrapped up the show, we talked about the two games that we had coming. There was Southampton and there was West Ham. And I remember both of you said that we're probably going to beat Southampton, right? Most people thought it was going to be a really tough game. We're probably going to edge it. But the West Ham one was the one where we seemed a bit unsure rather. I know Akuma had mentioned last week that West Ham was struggling with injuries and a lot of their defenders were out. Yeah. And their results might suffer for that thing, right? I think Akuma and I sort of never didn't really agree because West Ham had been really good this season.
Yeah.
But come on, 2 games, 5 goals scored, no goals conceded. Mossy Boy, how are you feeling about those 2 games?
Yeah. Let me start from the Southampton game. First of all, what I want to say in that Southampton game, I don't know how we actually go to West Ham game. We are still -1. That Southampton game should wipe up all our minus. First of all, seriously.
I mean, Liverpool dealt with us, so Man City don't deal with us.
It's Liverpool now.
Listen. We should have scored more goals in that Southampton game. Then we go to West Ham with maybe probably +1 or +2. Then we now go to West Ham, we score 2 goals. Now we are just +1. You understand what I mean? But what it actually impressed me about the team is the team doesn't fall apart because all of them they're going to hear the news in the club first that Aubameyang is no more the captain of the club. But that doesn't actually scatter the team. They all stay together. That I'm gonna give Arteta a credit for that, for him to be able to get the squad to stay together. I don't know how they discuss it. I don't know how they talk about it. But for the team to still stay together in those two games, it doesn't really kind of looks like we miss Aubameyang. And the reason why it doesn't looks like we miss Aubameyang is because he has not been performing.
Mm,
I'm not going to take away all everything that he has done for us. First of all, I will say the way they dealt with the situation. I know a lot of people, a lot of fans will be saying, they will be asking questions. Okay, what is going on? What is going on? What they should have said is, because me personally, I will say this: if anything happens to my, this is about the news I'm hearing is because Abamyan's mom is not very well. This is my mother. Anything else is secondary when it comes
mm,
to my parent. I don't care whether I
mm,
come back to the club late, or whatever. My parent at that point will be number one. I don't know how the club is dealing with it. Even though my job now, anything when it comes to my family, everything apart from everything becomes secondary.
mm,
If you understand what I mean. So at that point, even though if they want to kind of um if they want to kind of strip him off the captaincy, what Ateta should, okay, we had a meeting. The club has decided Aubameyang is not going to be the captain of Arsenal Football Club anymore due to personal reasons. That's it. I know the press will come back and say, okay, what is the reason? We don't want to discuss about it. Personal reasons. You
mm,
understand what I mean? Leave it
mm,
there. Due to
mm,
don't say because of disciplinary or anything. This
mm,
is this is what is this is his mom. And
mm,
even though if it is dad, everything as I know no player is bigger than the club, but when it
mm,
comes to your family, the football club I play for becomes secondary.
No,
You
spot
understand
on.
what I mean? So they should
Spot
have
on.
dealt with it better. I'm not saying don't come out and talk in the public, but
But this
they
PR,
should
this,
they should have kind of,
yeah,
you know,
yeah. Under Arsene
because
Wenger, this is what does.
this is what Arsene Wenger is good about. He knows how to deal with stuff like this. So they should have just said, don't. It's for personal reasons,
Yeah,
nothing else.
and once I mean, we'll talk a bit more about that as the show
Yeah,
goes on. But I wanted to just hear your thoughts as well about the
yeah,
two games, right?
Mm,
So the Southampton game and the West Ham game, and I know you've dwelt a lot on like the Aubameyang issue surrounding those games. But I mean, like
yeah,
in terms of the performances and the results that we got on those games, what
yeah.
did you think?
It's a good performance. I'm not gonna lie. They get the result. They get the win, 6 points. But I won't lie. The West Ham game, I'm not expecting us to go and to go. This is a very good West Ham team. This is what
mm,
people need to kind of understand. This is a
mm,
very, very good West Ham. It doesn't even show that they're missing some, but the way we play against them, we stop them playing their game
mm,
because we nullify their striker, which is Antonio, because that guy is absolutely dangerous. Because then we stop them playing, then we when it comes in the midfield, we we overshadow them in the midfield. We defend well, going forward, attacking. Then we should have scored in the first half, but I was angry anyway when we didn't score any goal in the first half. But we get the job done in the second half, which is really good. But we are in the number 4 position now. But however, it's just temporary, I would say.
mm.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
Akuma, what did you think about those two games,
Yeah,
Southampton and West Ham?
yeah. I think the Southampton game, especially the first 20 minutes, obviously wasn't that great, and stuff like that. But obviously, once we scored that goal, it just goes to show you goals change games. Obviously, and they obviously just collapsed and stuff. So I think, to be honest with you, the Southampton game was just for us just to get the 3 points so we can get that winning feeling because we've just lost two bad games in the last two matches against obviously Man United and against Everton. So I think the Southampton game was more of the result than the performance. Than the West Ham game, the fact that we got the result and the performance was really
hmm
good. But a
it
bit
was
like
really good.
Moxie
Yeah.
Boy, we shouldn't count our chickens because this has happened before. And
hmm
in the same way, sentiment is right. It's kind of a false fourth because obviously Man United have got games in hand, Tottenham have got games in hand. So let's not count our laurels yet.
Let's not count the laurels here. And both of you make very valid points. I remember watching the Southampton game and I was annoyed. Like
Mm,
before we scored, it was like we didn't train. We're
mm,
playing very poorly, very
mm,
poorly. No, no jokes. We're playing very poorly, but somehow, a
We
good
grew
move,
into the game.
just one good move, right
Mm,
all the way from the goalkeeper,
mm.
Tomiyasu, Saka to Lacazette, and bam, we're in the game. We have our goal, right?
And
And
that's the first goal that capsulates Southampton. That is the goal that
exactly.
destroyed them.
Once
yeah,
we got
yeah,
that
Mm.
goal, like
yeah,
Monty Boy said,
yeah.
we grew into the game and we got better. But yesterday against West Ham, I don't know. I'm trying to strike a balance between we played well and that West Ham were just poor. Because I'm like, no, this is not West Ham.
Yeah,
This is not the West Ham that have been
Ye-
doing bits in
yeah,
a
yeah, but you
comfortable
have to, yeah, but you have to
rest.
remember they are, like I said last week, they are missing a lot of defenders at the same time because
I think it kind of showed
yeah,
because
Zuma wasn't there.
we
Yeah,
dominated those boys. We
No,
know that
no.
we don't create. We know they create chance. Arsenal, we know to the create chances. We had 21 shots against
Sure.
West Ham.
But
Shocked.
like I said, we just stop West Ham trying to play their game. We nullifies all their dangerous players. Like what's his name? Their striker, and this Polish guy as well. What's the name in the middle? The tall guy.
Suchek.
Suche, we nullify him because those are the two dangerous. And because if those two guys are not performing, like Lanzini is not going to perform, all of that dangerous players, we just kind of say no, you're not going to do what because this is, remember, this is West Ham team that beat Liverpool and Chelsea, and Liverpool
mm,
and Chelsea beat Arsenal.
Exactly.
So we
yeah,
kind of stop them playing. The only one thing when the game start is I was first of all I was thinking, because if you look at Atata on the line, it's so animated.
So
It's
animated, man.
so
At some
animated,
point, I was
like,
like, can this guy just sit
and
down? Like
the
we've heard
player,
you.
yeah, and the player feed from that animation on the line. Like, okay, if our manager can kind of so animated on the line like this, then we got to kind of, because if West Ham player is holding the ball, you will see Atata will be like shouting, "Get on him, get on him, get on him." And one thing that he did that I gave him credit for is, Gabriel, was it the
mm.
Brazilian that scored?
Yeah.
Maybe
Martinelli.
probably Martinelli.
No.
I
Okay.
think that is where he's going to be learning that. Okay, he got cramp and he was outside of the pitch. Atata run to him. No, you
He
don't
yelled
get
at him.
cramp
He
outside.
yelled at the
Get
guy.
inside
Like
there and go and
literally,
get
you
cramp.
dragged him back on the pitch. I'm
Back
like,
up.
Mm,
at least ask him why he's lying
Ask him.
down
No, no, no,
first.
no, no, no. I
Find out
like what
what's going on.
listen, Birmingham. I like what he did there. Drag him into the pitch. Because then we are kind of like, is it 1-0? 1-0
Yeah,
up?
it was still 1-0 at the
Yeah, it's
time.
still 1-0. Just take this, drag him on the pitch, let the referee stop the game, then take the sting
Oh, okay.
out of
Well,
out of
I see your point. I
West
didn't I
Ham.
didn't
You
I didn't think
understand?
about it that way. To me, it seemed
Yeah.
like it was telling Martinelli to go back
No,
to start
he's just
playing.
telling
And I was
Martinelli to
like,
go
no,
back
don't
and
do
go and
that. The
have the
guy is
cramp
clearly
inside the
injured.
pitch.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I guess if it's that, instead of lying down outside, lie down on
Outside,
the
yeah.
pitch
Because if
so they
if
can
you're
stop the
outside of the
game.
pitch,
That
the
makes
referee is
sense.
not going to stop the game. They will
True.
carry
mm,
on. You
True.
understand what I
That
mean?
makes sense.
So
That
mm,
makes sense. And yeah, I mean, valid, right? I just feel like it was a combination of two things. It was a combination.
mm,
mm,
I mean, I'm talking about the West Ham game now. The
yeah,
Southampton game, honestly, I mean, we got that goal
that's
and it changed
we
everything.
expect to win that
The
anyway.
West Ham game, I think they also played very poorly, right?
Mm,
Whether it's because we stopped them or injuries or whatever, they didn't even. They had one shot on target. Like Southampton had 6 shots on target against us.
mm-hmm.
West Ham had one. Like it
mm,
was that bad. Like they
mm,
didn't turn up on the day. And usually these are the kinds of games that help you to accumulate points.
mm,
They're
mm.
not games against the bigger teams that you're less likely to win, but teams that allow you capitulate you sorry what am I, you what's the word now? I can't remember, but like you take advantage of
You
that, right?
capitalize on it.
You capitalize on it. You take
Mm,
advantage of those kinds of games, get your 3 points
Mm,
and keep it moving. And that's
mm,
why even though the teams beneath us right now, like United and Tottenham have like 4 games in hand
4 games
now.
in hand.
It's
They
terrible,
called their
right?
game off today again against Leicester.
Even though they have all these
Mm,
games
and
in
that's
hand,
and
and
that's
we
a
know
good
that,
thing. Yeah,
but at least we're not losing the points that we should be keeping, and
Exactly.
that's a good thing.
Yeah, and it's actually a good thing because when a team has that many games in hand, what are the chances of them winning all those games in hand?
They might
It's
not,
next to
because those
they
games might
can't
be
because
rushed.
they'll be rushed, especially with
Exactly.
the exactly. So there's no way they're going to
Yeah,
win it. So
but they have
it's an
to be
advantage.
playing it every 3 days then to catch up.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
So we'll
Yeah.
see, right? Let's take a few comments. Sentiment says Pastor Mossy giving the Lord's sermon. That's it. Mossy boy, Akuma na oracle. You Mossy boy don't turn pastor now. That in a disappearing acts. It says, yeah, I haven't enjoyed how everyone fan cam has been celebrating within me, so they call themselves classic fans after all he did was be a good son. Honestly,
Yeah.
we have to
Yeah.
talk about this, and I'll bring this up
Yeah.
in a moment. But let's finish this. I'm gonna skip this comment and come back to it when we're talking about Aubameyang.
Mhm.
Sentiment says, "Wow, Teta really truly trying to absolve himself of any blame." Osman Ali said, "Laka should captain us until the season ends. Then, if Gabriel's English is off to a decent standard, hand it to him. If not, then sign Coop Mainers and give it to him. If not, then give it to Odegaard. I don't even know who Coop Mainers is, and I don't think Odegaard should be captain. But I can understand Gabriel or maybe Tierney. It says speak Birmingham, West Ham, or the East London Burnley. Very different from what I expect or seen against LFC, CFC, even with a couple of injuries. And that's what I'm saying. Like they just didn't turn up on the day. They played like it was, it wasn't West Ham. It says the man set up for a draw got boxed. Samuel says, I think Martinelli should have been able to come off someone on pitch, should have kicked the ball out or fouled someone. And then it says, reminds me of Partey, not London Derby. Yeah, and that reminded me of Partey as well, because and it's not this not London Derby that we beat them. I very remember the not London Derby that we lost 2-0 last season, where Partey was injured as well and he was off the pitch,
It was
right?
off the
And
pitch, and
Ateta,
Ateta
pushed
had to
him back.
push him back. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
And then it seemed to me at the time that I was pushing him to say, hey, they're attacking us, go and defend, even though the guy was injured. That's why I thought, oh, you're doing this to Martinelli again, haven't you learned? But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So let's talk about the elephant in the room now. And I will start, sort of in my own opinion, how this issue had panned out and what I think has happened, right? So Aubameyang, from what we've heard, right, his mom, and we've heard this thing about his mom a couple of times this season, right? So it's not news that there's been some issues with his mom, sickness and everything, and he's been dealing with that all through the season. But this time it seemed like, the club gave him permission to travel to France, and he was going to bring his mom to England. From what we've also heard, maybe there were some delays with the flight issue or whatever. He arrived in England. He arrived in training on time, but I guess he had not arrived in England at the time when the club had, mandated him to arrive. Well, so there was some lateness there. There was probably some COVID-19 breach there, and that is the offense, right? The first thing is, usually, because I play Football Manager, and in the most recent versions of Football Manager, what would typically happen is at the start of every season, you as the manager, you set the rules. If you commit this offense, this is the punishment. If you do it once, twice, 3 times, you lay out all the punishments, and the squad agrees to it. Okay. So if the punishment for late coming is you drop him, that is valid. There's no, you can't say Arteta was being unfair or whatever. He has been late, and this is the punishment. He's been late more than once, so this is the punishment. He gets that. What I disagree with, even the stripping of Aubameyang of the captaincy, if you remember that a lot of times, different people have said so many things about Aubameyang not being fit to be captain. He became captain when Granit Xhaka, did the thing with the fans, and then Emery just gave it to Aubameyang because Aubameyang was our best player at the moment. Many people, even before all of this, people have said this guy shouldn't be captain. We should give it to somebody with a bit more leadership in him, right? And so for me, stripping Aubameyang of the captaincy isn't even a big deal, right? Sometimes it could even be the better thing to do. I personally thought Aubameyang, they would have given the captaincy to somebody else earlier in the season, like at the start of the new season, right? But like Mossy Boy said, I think it's the public nature of it that not only makes first of all, it makes the manager or whoever is making decisions, it makes it look like you're not empathetic to the fact that this guy is dealing with a parent being sick.
Yeah.
You've also thrown him into the wild because now the media is eating him up. Like everybody's public. You see, even people that are publishing articles about Arsenal's win, they still put Aubameyang in the headlines. Arsenal does not miss Aubameyang. They've beaten West Ham. Like, these are the kind of headlines we've been seeing. And I'm like, you've put the man in a situation where, like, he's a black man, right? So you already know that it's at a disadvantage. You've
Mm.
now also now given everybody the chance to rip him to shreds, and
Yeah,
they are
yeah,
going in. And the
yeah.
thing that hurts me the most, and I think Sentiment said this, is the fans. I'm not gonna lie. Like the club, I'm used to the club doing things that are just worrisome. But
Mm.
there's so many fans who are celebrating this issue in a way that I think is a bit problematic, because we're
Mm,
talking about Aubameyang here. And
mm.
I know that he's not been performing well and all of that. And I've even said it here, if he's not doing well, drop him. But I don't think you should be celebrating your captain getting disgraced this way,
Mm,
knowing fully well that we begged him to stay just 16 months ago.
16 that's correct, yes.
We
yeah,
be-
it's
it's,
just
A lot of
it's
people forget, they forget about that, that we actually
we
begging him to sign
begged
the
him
contract,
16 months ago. We,
contract
we were happy. We,
when
we,
he
we
signed.
said, look at people, some people, when we needed them to stay, they didn't stay. Aubameyang stayed. We love him. All of a sudden, the guy is going through
Van
a
Persie
rough
doesn't stay
time.
when we begged him. Van
Exactly. He's
Persie
going through
doesn't
a
stay.
rough time. He's going through a rough patch, and we've deserted him. Like, we've just, fans have just, everybody is digging in on him. We don't miss him. The people saying,
Mm.
mm,
get rid of him, sell him in January. He should get out. He's going
yeah,
to sit here and collect 350,000 a week and just be another Ozil. And I'm like, we begged him to stay. We begged him to sign this contract. He
yeah,
had
yeah. But
other options.
yeah, but it's the fickleness of fans. That's the problem, you see. And I agree with you on one thing. It's something that what's his name? Who's the Nigerian guy that goes on Master Fan TV? Is it Kalechi?
Kelechi, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he mentioned something on his Fancom, which I thought was a very valid
Mm,
point.
very valid.
That
Yeah, I
yeah,
watched that. I watched
you
his
watch
interview.
that
Yeah.
where he talks about, because it's like in England, a captain's like a Tony Adams. But we think if we see a black guy and he doesn't shout or doesn't impose himself, he's not a captain. So we're literally, thinking leadership is to do with just shouting and looking a certain way. But as you know, and if you read any leadership books, there's different styles of leadership. There's the servant leadership. There is the, what do you call it, the Napoleon type of leadership where you got one big man telling everyone what to do. And because
Mm,
we live in England, we adopt that sort of leadership. And we
mm,
think if someone's not shouting or effing and
mm,
blinding, he's not a leader,
mm,
and stuff like that. I think and it kind of fits into the
mm.
stereotype of black players that, all you're doing is you just want to
Yeah,
just joke around.
yeah. But
And
just to add to what you said, okay, this is this is the thing that I've said it pardon me, I've said it before on the show, right?
hmm,
Because you are a captain of the club, that doesn't mean that. Look at let me give you an example. For example, now West Ham. What's the name of their captain?
Declan Rice.
No, 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 no.
Oh, is
The
that not
club
Declan?
captain.
Nolan.
Oh, okay,
No, not
Nolan.
Nolan. The
Who's the
club
captain?
captain for West Ham doesn't get into their first
Noble,
11, and
Noble, Noble,
Noble,
Noble,
and
Noble,
he is
Noble,
the
yeah,
Okay,
Noble,
club
okay.
yeah,
captain.
yeah.
Because you are a club captain, for example, now, like I said
Oh,
earlier,
it's
this should
Martinelli.
have then dealt with in a different way. They might still keep Aubameyang as a club captain. The manager can go to him that, okay, at the moment, all this issue is going on with you. You are not performing on the pitch.
Mm,
Let me give you some, maybe probably 2 or 3 weeks off. Take it off. Go and do whatever you want to do. Come back at this, because Arsene Wenger always do it.
yeah,
He will
yeah,
give that player like time off. Alex
yeah.
Ferguson always do it. Cristiano Ronaldo mentioned when his dad was sick. He
Mm,
said he spoke to Alex Ferguson. Alex Ferguson told him that go to your father, go and do whatever you want. Come back when you're ready. If
mm.
Alex Ferguson can tell Cristiano Ronaldo to go and take care of his family, then why can't Arsenal? Okay, we know that Aubameyang is not performing.
It's not even
This is
playing well at the
He's
moment,
not
so it's not
playing
like
well
you're
at the
going to
moment.
miss him.
This is where I'm going here. Tell him, okay, go and meet your what's it called, your family. Do
Mm,
whatever you want to do. Treat them. Come back. Let me give you 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, if you think that you need more time, let me know. Then we know where we're gonna go from there. But I will
mm,
give you the first 2 weeks off. Go and deal with whatever issue that you have.
mm,
Then this stripping of the captaincy thing is not going to be there. We have, like he said, he's the one that said it. We have group of leadership at the club. We have a
mm,
Birmingham. But what I want to put into what I'm saying is, I don't want the club to give Xhaka the
The
captaincy again.
captaincy. Yeah, and most of
Because
I heard that
if
because we
Xhaka be, yeah, if Xhaka back to be our captain, then what's the point
it
of
will be
stripping?
funny,
What's the
right?
point of
And I
stripping
want you to
Yeah,
hold
yeah,
that thought, right?
Aubameyang?
yeah.
Because
Okay,
we'll
okay.
come back to we'll come back to talk about like captaincy choices in
Yeah,
a moment, right? I want to take a few comments.
yeah.
While we're still on the issue of how this could have been done better, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, like Sentiment said earlier, it says he hasn't enjoyed how everyone on fan camps have been saying we didn't miss Oba and they'll call themselves classy Arsenal fans.
Mm.
Soft spots here says when you say due to personal reasons, it might seem like he relinquished the armband. Although I
Hmm.
agree, it could have been dealt with better. Also, unhappy with Ateta saying Oba has failed. I mean, you
And
just
this is the
shouldn't
guy that
shouldn't
won him
shouldn't do
the
that.
FA Cup 2 years
You shouldn't
ago.
exactly. You just shouldn't do that. It's a funny thing to do.
Hmm.
Sentiment here says, what's this? It says Ateta should coach and instruct these players on injury protocol on the field to take a dive on the pitch instead of walking off, right? And I think that one is facts, right?
Hmm.
Iman Lifestyle, big ups to you. He says a Chelsea fan here. I don't know Chelsea. Last I checked, you were drawing new with Everton, so maybe you need to go and you need to be praying for your club. But yeah, on the topic of how this could have been dealt with a lot better before we discuss potential captain's choices. I think, like you said, Mossy Boy, you could have given the guy a break. I think even if the club had reached a point where you are tired of Aubameyang, right? You
Yeah,
don't want him anymore.
anymore.
This
Yeah,
is December. The transfer window opens in January.
in
Put
January.
him
Yeah,
up for sale, sell him, and you can appoint your new captain.
you know.
You could say, you know what, Aubameyang, your mind is not in the game at the moment. Your mom is ill. All of this is affecting you psychologically.
Hmm.
At the moment, you are
Yeah,
not
that's
fit
where the
to
time off
cap. You
comes, isn't
get.
it?
You say you can even tell him at the moment, I want to take this captaincy off you so that you can take that pressure of
Of your,
the captaincy won't be on you.
you
Let's go do a
understand.
press
This
conference.
this is this is
Announce that you're
exactly what I said
resigning.
about
You
personal
get
reason earlier.
let's go do a press conference, announce that you're relinquishing the captaincy, or even if I won't do a press conference, I will just announce that Aubameyang, to take the pressure off him while he's relinquishing the captaincy and we'll give it to a leadership group. You
Mm.
protect the player is my
Protect.
own point, right?
Yeah, you
Don't
always say that, Gaming Gap. The way we
yeah,
diss our
we
player,
are
you
a
just
club.
they just lose value.
Do you understand? It's
Yeah.
us against everybody else. Why should we seem to be the ones that are now pulling each other down? Considering the fact, and this is what I think could be an implication of this, right? So imagine that you're an Arsenal player and you're at a critical point in your career. Now, there's so many clubs that want you because you're good, and then Arsenal fans are begging you to sign the thing. And now, people will be less likely to sign it because now the sample size, there's been Ozil, who you can see how things ended up for him when he signed his contract. Aubameyang night has happened to him when he signed his contract. I'm like, this is most likely if I sign the contract today and I don't play well next season, these guys are gonna kill me. So
Yeah.
please let me go somewhere
Yeah.
else.
Why do you think? Why do you think Lacazette is kind of reluctant to get to
Well,
sign the
I
extension?
don't blame him
I don't. I'm
because
not gonna
if he
blame him.
signs now and he doesn't play well next season, everybody will eat him
Everybody
up.
will be. He will be
Yeah,
struggling.
they'll call him lack of threat. Lack of
Yeah.
threat.
Do you
Yeah.
understand? So now you've put us in a position where most people will probably not want to do these kinds of things
Yeah.
again in the
Yeah.
future, right?
And
Yeah.
another thing I want to say is, since maybe probably I will say since Aubameyang has been an Arsenal captain, apart before he became our captain when he's scoring those goals, a lot of people respect him. Immediately he became our captain, he doesn't have that respect anymore.
Anymore.
You understand what I mean? Any little mistake that he made like this, they will be say, "Oh yeah, the club captain," and they just that respect just went out the window
Mm.
Yeah. And
because
captaincy puts that pressure on you,
Mhm.
and it's just unfortunate that and like the truth is that I always say this every time. The manager is a new manager. This is his first job at management. Some of the names we mentioned, Ferguson, Wenger, they were highly experienced managers, right? They had managed clubs and they knew. So Ateta is new at this, right? And I don't even think he has the best people advising him around him. So
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
kinds of mistakes that I see. I remember when Henry went to Monaco, he went there and shot the bed. If you remember that,
Yeah. I
like
remember that. I
he did
remember that.
so
Yeah.
poorly there.
Yeah. He was cussing and
You
swearing
get it.
and yeah.
You can make those mistakes at
Yeah.
the earlier stages of your career,
Yeah.
So I'm not
Yeah.
surprised that Ateta has done this. I just wish there were other people at the club who could have told him, no, don't do it this way. Do it this way instead. This is the better way to deal with these kinds of situation.
But is that
Um,
not the reason? Is that not the reason why you have an assistant manager? You have all these coaches around you. Just to, if you want to do something, okay, you have the meeting with them and said, okay, this is what we're gonna do. What do you guys think? You get
uh,
people's opinion, the
yeah,
people
yeah,
around
but
you.
the problem is that Arteta has
Even
probably
though
got
if you're
yes,
a
yeah,
manager,
yeah, but multi-boy though. The problem is because Arteta's a young manager, he's probably just got yes men around him, and not people that could challenge him. That's the thing that's probably
That's
happened.
also possible. I remember
yeah,
even you, Mosi Boy, said it was it just last week that Ateta likes to have yes men around him. And you know,
Yeah,
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 but
the
he
players.
like that, but no, but because he doesn't like people questioning his what was it
His
called, his
decision.
yeah,
authority.
but then that
But
happens a lot when you're.
but for, it's not to me. It's not going to learn like that. That's not the
Yeah,
way you
no,
learn.
yeah,
Even
but
though
I
Well,
you're
think
a manager, if even though if you are the owner of the company, you still want to take advice from people working in that for
yeah,
you.
yeah, it can happen like this. Like for example, I was doing a job a couple of years ago, and
Yeah,
we had the guy that was reporting to was 10 years younger than me, but he
yeah,
was so arrogant and he was so forceful. Because what happens is when you're young and you get a position of leadership and you're managing people, you just
hmm
automatically go to the what do you call it, Napoleon style of leadership, whereby yeah, do this, do that, blah blah blah, because you're trying to mask your
yeah,
insecurity.
exactly. I was
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
say that, you're just
Yeah,
masking a lot of insecurity.
yeah, but when you're like a Ferguson, like a Wenger, you've seen players, you've seen this, you see that. So when the player shouts at you, you don't respond back. You think, okay, it's 4D chess. You're thinking of the whole picture. What's going on with him? He's never not like this. Maybe he needs that time off. Maybe I just need to protect him and not say I'm not saying nothing. He's just
Yeah,
resting.
but to me, I think
Mm.
Atata in this captaincy issue, Atata he didn't protect Aubameyang at all.
No,
No,
at
I
all.
know,
He
yeah.
fed him to the
But
wolves.
you still need to
I
keep him,
know,
and you still need to keep him motivated. That's the thing, because you don't
I
know
know.
when. Yeah, yeah. You still
I
need to
know a
keep.
lot of people have been saying that okay, this is something that he has done before. He's done it again when we want to play in North London. He came back late, this and that. But like I said earlier, anything when it comes, people, you don't know when you're going to fall sick. You don't know when any of your family is going to fall sick. But when it comes to my family, my job becomes secondary.
Become secondary.
I
And,
tell
and
you
and
now.
another thing I will say before we end this topic is, I'm sure all clubs deal
Hmm.
with indiscipline with some players at some point.
Yeah,
I don't think this is unique to Arsenal, right?
Mm.
And you rarely ever hear about it, right?
But
You hear about it on some occasions, but it's not a popular thing, right? And I think that clubs find a way to deal with that indiscipline in a
mhm.
very civil manner, where they don't, expose themselves, expose their players that way. And I think Ateta should have tried to do
So
that with Aubameyang as well.
as long as a player is not like a player like Balotelli,
You get
club
exactly
should be able to deal with
to protect him.
to protect their
Anyways,
players.
let's
Just
take a few comments and then we move on to something else. Before I even say that, I should say that, like, at the end of the day, Aubameyang, like, we hope that his mom is going to be fine. I don't know, the
hmm
man must be going through a lot at the moment.
Yep.
Thoughts are with him.
You
Hopefully
know.
he can, bounce back from all of this trouble. Sentiment says that Ateta should have dropped Oba ages ago, always hoping for form to uplift. Ateta has a tendency to do that. If he believes in you, right? We've seen it
hmm
with Willian, Odegaard. If he thinks you will do well, it will keep playing you, regardless of what you're doing. It will keep playing you
Yeah,
until
but the thing is, Gbemi guy, what you said, that comment there, even the player that is on form, Atata dropped them. Look at
that
what's it
one
called?
is like Pepe, Lacazette,
Look at Pepe, look at Lokonga. They are playing well. They are on form. Immediately Xhaka comes back, he dropped them and put
benched,
Xhaka back in. So
benched.
you understand what I mean?
Yeah,
What about he knows, he can see it. He knows this guy. They see for sideline say, my striker know they perform. My striker know they score the easiest goal ever. Just
yeah.
call this dry to
And
striker
then
and just
Mercy
tell
Boy,
him
I
say, oh,
beg
I
go.
beg. Uh-huh.
Akuma and Mercy Boy, Akuma, you be goalkeeper, so maybe you go know.
yeah,
This season, three
yes,
penalties, all
yes,
three missed.
Miss.
yes.
What's going on now?
Well, like I said, it's hard, isn't it? Because you have to remember these Premier League goalkeepers study penalties, don't they?
Yeah,
So they
yeah.
look at it, and obviously with penalties, it's a probability game. So if you've
Yeah.
done your research, you're thinking he's going to either put it there and put it there and stuff like that. And each keeper has a unique way of trying to save penalties. I know for me, how I try and psych a player out is if a player is watching the ball and he's looking there, I know he's trying to psych me. He's going to put it on the other side. So that's how I normally do it. And sometimes it does work for me, but yeah, it's like I said, penalties is just
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Like
but one
this
thing
one I'm
one thing I
missing
want to
our
say, I'm
penalties.
not
I
sure
don't
whether
tire.
in the Euro, right?
mm,
Pickford.
mm.
Pickford actually his water bottle. You can see
Yeah, I
like
remember
kind of
that. I remember that.
penalty. Oh, okay. If this guy want to play penalty, this is at last five. This is what he does, and this is where he scored. This is what he made. So
Yes,
this, like Akuma said, they study penalties.
yeah.
And
I don't know.
I
Maybe it's
I think
because VAR before they know used to give us penalty now, so we stopped training for it. Now, now I'm getting all these pens. I'm just losing them, man.
you know.
But yeah, sentiment also says if he wanted to change captain, he should have done it without the convenient excuse of discipline.
Hmm.
Being a man, faced him up, not cover up the real plan of a sweep out of big characters, Laka, Leno, Maitland-Niles. I don't even know if he wants to get rid of Maitland-Niles or not, because Maitland-Niles said it at the beginning of the season that they should let him go. He still no agree and go anywhere. He says
Hmm.
that Teta doesn't even like his methods being questioned. There have been a couple reporters not to return to the press conference after pressing him for answers, making him
Yeah.
sweat. Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Interesting.
right.
Is agreeing with you. It says agree family first. If my boss tried to stop me ensuring the health of my parents, it would be a physical altercation. Physical. It's on site. Big ups to you, Osman. Randy Viper. It says
Randy
Ateta
Viper is
out
back.
now. Randy Viper is back. This man don't send Ateta. Anyways, let's move on to something else. Akuma, in your own opinion, now Aubameyang is no longer the captain. I know that the most recent announcement is that there is a captaincy group, and I think it consists of Xhaka, Lacazette, and is it Rob Holding now?
Mm,
But in your own opinion, Akuma, would you
yeah,
think, and it doesn't have to be one person, you can say maybe two or three people, would you think
yeah,
are the ideal candidates for that next captaincy and why?
yeah. It's a good question. You have to ask yourself this: is the so-called emphasis on the captain is it that critical in today's game? You look at Chelsea. Who's Chelsea's captain? As
Only God knows.
Aspalaqueta.
Aspalaqueta, yeah.
Aspilicueta.
Does he play though? A
No,
lot.
he
No,
doesn't.
no,
He
not
Eh,
doesn't.
really.
He plays now
Exactly.
and he's
Yeah, yeah.
not the first
Yeah,
name on
so
the sheet.
my argument is this focal point is having one captain like the old days of obviously you had your Tony Adams, you had your Vieiras, you had your Roy Keane. Maybe the game's changed now. Maybe it is a group decision now. It's not necessarily one person. Just go, lads. You probably do need a collective of leaders in your squad to get through it and stuff. So it's so hard to pick one right now. I have to be honest with you because you can say Tierney, but he's injury prone,
Too
and
many injuries.
yeah, and not even that though. Just because he wears his short sleeves and he has a Tesco bag, he's from Scotland, we think he's captain material. I mean, come on, is that how leadership's all about? And then you got the other candidate, which is Gabriel. He's very vocal, but his English is not the best English out there.
Hmm.
It's the other person you can think of is maybe Ramsdale, but Ramsdale just joined the club. Maybe you need to give him a few seasons. And obviously, there's always this debate whether a goalkeeper should be a captain or not, even though Schmeichel, was a relatively captain as well. So I'm actually at a loss now who to be. I think it probably should be there should be a leader of a series of captains, and it should just nominate one person as the figurehead. But it doesn't mean that it's a bit like the Queen is the figure is the Queen of England, but she's more of a figurehead than an actual leader itself. It's Boris Johnson that has the power, so maybe that should be it. Though, I mean, that's my take on it.
Yeah,
So
I mean
I'm
that's
not.
an interesting take. And you make a very valid point for um having a leadership group as opposed to like one figurehead captain, right? Because I mean you can find leadership in different places. I
Mm,
think also that you want to make sure that the people within your leadership group are
mm.
influential. I mean, and
Yeah,
they're respected within the squad. I think
yeah,
Oba, for example, was very liked within the
yes, yes,
squad. I mean,
yes.
that's the vibe I got, right? Everybody
That,
seemed to
yes,
like him, smiley guy. And so you want
yeah,
guys that are respected, that if they talk, the players will listen.
yeah,
And I think if the problem is a lot of people say there aren't a lot of leaders in the Arsenal squad. And maybe it's true, maybe it's not true. I'm not there. I don't really know how like people react to different people. But I think, for example, Tierney now is because I mean I remember that was it that Spurs game where it was very vocal and yelling at everybody and telling them, "Come on now." And I think maybe that's why they like him. There's Granit Xhaka, and I even think Xhaka himself, it will be very, very, what's the word I'm looking for here? But I think
Vocal.
he'll be making a very risky decision to accept captaincy at Arsenal because if it goes
Yeah,
wrong, it will kill him.
yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah,
And he
exactly.
knows that.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I get Odegaard. I don't really want Odegaard to be our captain. I don't see what he has done for the club to deserve that kind of honor, in my opinion. Right? Maybe when he does something for the club and he reaches that level of, oh, we respect this guy enough to make him captain. If you make Odegaard captain, half of the fan base will not agree with it. You've
Yeah,
already
exactly.
created another division within the fan base again. And I
Yeah.
think we should be trying to avoid those kinds of things. Most
But
people,
but it,
what do you
but
think?
what I'm gonna say to that is at the moment, I think Lacazette is the assistant captain to Aubameyang, if I'm correct, right?
Yes.
Because and he's playing now at the moment, so
Mm-hmm.
they should just leave him to be the captain to the end of the season and see. It's because it looks like Aubameyang will be leaving the club at the end of the season, right?
Probably.
Just let him carry on doing being our captain for now till the end of the season when his contract expires. So if he leaves, then they're gonna have the whole summer to decide who is gonna be our captain, because at the moment, if what's it called, if the captain was stripped from the captain of the club, then he's got to go to the assistant captain, which is Aubameyang, right?
True.
So Aubameyang stays as our captain, then who is going to be the assistant? Maybe probably at the moment I can see that every time Aubameyang leave the pitch, he give the armband to Xhaka, which I believe is the assistant to Aubameyang now. Okay, so me personally, I don't want, because for Xhaka to tell fan to kind of F off, and he still kind of relinquish himself and come back into the team, and he's still playing for us. And when the captain is coming off, they give him the handband. It's literally is still is captain the team that is on the pitch. Okay, for me, Aubameyang hasn't done anything to for you to kind of say, okay, you want to strip him of his captain. Manchester United captain done something worse than what Aubameyang has done. This guy only late to come back. Manchester
Yeah,
United
Maguire did
captain
some crazy
go
stuff.
out to another country to go and bribe a policeman, and is carrying the name of one of the biggest club in England, and he still comes back, and they don't even think for 1 second to say, oh, you're not going to be our captain again. And my Arsenal captain comes back late because of his family, for if that's what they're saying, for family reason. And you're saying that because he's late first time, second time, third time, or whatever, is the next minute is time. There's a millions way to deal with it, millions of way to deal with it without you taking the captaincy off him. Because he's the club captain, that doesn't mean that he has to play every single minute, or he has to be on the match squad every weekend or every week. You understand what I'm saying? There's a millions way to deal with it, and nobody in the media will know what is going on,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
Arsene Wenger always does. He will
You make it
always protect his players.
always protect your player. I mean, you make a very valid point, and I
Yeah.
completely agree with you.
And what happens is when you do that, you have players that would die for you. I don't know if you've watched the Arsene Wenger Invincible documentary.
Yeah,
Have
yeah,
you watched
yeah.
it? Yeah, if you
Yeah,
watched that,
Arsene Invincible.
yeah,
I
exactly.
saw
Yeah,
the
that one.
highlight. I haven't seen the whole
Yeah,
thing.
it's a really good. I watched it the other day, and even Vieira would say, when you got a captain, when I used to do a lot of horrible stuff on the pitch. You remember when Vieira spat our West Ham player and got
Hmm.
himself sent off? I
Yeah,
think it was in '99 or 2000,
yeah,
and the player Wenger still backed me. He said that from there, I'm willing to die for this manager,
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's what I think they should have done. You should have said, you know what? Yes, he's late, but I still back my striker. And what will happen is it will bring a fire and a motivation. They say, you know what, I'm gonna die for this manager. You
Mm-hmm.
know, Mourinho used to do that a lot greatly when he first came to Chelsea, whereby
Mm-hmm.
players were willing to die for Mourinho because that's how he motivated them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You're absolutely correct. And then
Mm-hmm.
you create that loyalty the
yes,
moment you show the player that, hey, don't worry, I'm behind you. I know you
mm,
messed up. I'm gonna punish you for messing up, but I'm not
mm.
going to, like, like
Embarrass,
embarrass you or disgrace you this way. Don't worry.
yeah, yeah,
And even if the press, so if the press, because I think a lot of people say, okay, you dropped Aubameyang, it's not Ateta's fault that the press will ask questions. Yes, the press
mm,
will ask questions, but the same Ateta who came post-match and said, hey, I'm not giving you any details about it, is the
Mm,
same one pre-match who said he was punishing him. Do you get?
mm.
So you could have told the press it's a person, it's an internal issue. I'm not telling you anything. I'm
Anything.
protected
Yeah.
your player. But it is what it is. Let's take a few comments before we move on. Um Randy Viper says every time I see Mossy Boy is bigger. It means that gets bigger every time I see him more.
mm,
Mossy Boy,
mm.
you gotta tell us what you're doing now. How you're getting bigger. Sentiment says Pickford studies his opponents. He watches football more than Ben does. Our own player Ben White says he does not watch football. Um, it says Rudiger is on field captain. Yeah, Rudiger is, you know that guy is captain material, even though
Yeah,
Aspilicueta is the actual captain of the
what
club.
that guy said, that said Rudiger is what I want to say to that. I kind of agree. Not the way football played these days. Not the only the captain has to be the captain on the pitch. Every single person have to be the captain. For example, even though if the captain is not doing the right thing, another person that is a leader in the squad can tell him, look,
Can
you are the captain,
exactly
you should be doing this. You
Yeah,
understand what I mean? You
yeah.
should be
That's what.
very
reminding
Yeah,
true.
him that.
that's why I think the game has evolved from
Mm,
just one person barking
one
orders.
person, yeah, that's
There's
right.
there's a committee of people saying,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Yeah,
That
you need that in the
Rudiger
pitch.
is not the cap. Rudiger, I don't see handban from Rudiger, but he's a leader
But is a leader on the pitch,
on
and
the
that
pitch.
exactly
Yes,
that's what
yes.
sentiment is saying. And Osman Ali also says, "Do you lot really think Pate, Xhaka, and Laka will take orders from young, tiny Tierney? Let's be realistic. Odegaard is already a captain for Norway, influential in the back. I mean that's an opinion right there. It's trying to say that some of the more experienced people will not take orders from Tierney on the pitch, and maybe you're valid. It says sentiment says Arsenal's captain is no longer in the squad. Ateta pushed them out. We need to buy a captain. Someone who is buy someone else's captain from the current squad, Laka or Gabriel, no matter his English, if he grabs you up.
Yeah,
Um,
I've seen hang on. I've seen a lot of people on on other channel that they're talking like Gabriel because of his English is this is that. When it comes to captaincy, all you just need to do is hoi there. He can say that. You understand what I mean? And
Yeah,
let the
yeah,
football
but it's
do
more
the
than that.
talking.
But it's the changing room stuff. It's the dynamics of that. Like, for example, did you watch the Tottenham
Yeah, yeah. I know
or
the captain
another?
always talk in the changing room.
Yeah, but yeah, look at that though. When Harry Kane was
Yeah.
talking, come on, what did that really?
yeah, I think that's part of it. And also, sometimes you have other duties, like you speak to the press, you do all of these things.
Yeah,
And you want to make sure that the captain can communicate effectively.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's another opinion right there. Sentiment also says no new guys as captain. We're not Man United and we don't have Muppet Maguire. That's me as well. As I see everything everybody says about Odegaard and stuff, but like I don't think we should make a guy who has officially been our player for less than a year. I don't think you should make him your captain. It says Harry Maguire was punching up the police. Yeah, and he's still the captain. No player wants to die for Ateta. They are dying to get away from Ateta. This brings me to the next thing that I wanted to talk about, right? So
Sentiment is so funny, right? They are
it's a
trying to
funny
get
it's a
out
funny
from
one.
that. That is
It's a
it.
funny one, right? This brings me to talk about something that I was thinking about, right? Before that West Ham game, in my opinion, I thought that the situation around Aubameyang, all the drama that had happened, I thought it would have an effect on the team's morale,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
Aubameyang, in my opinion, is a very liked player within that squad.
yeah.
Mm.
But it seemed that those players got on the pitch against West Ham, and somehow they channeled that whatever that's it. Either
That anger.
it didn't affect them at all, and they didn't think
No,
about it,
to be honest with you, it
or they
doesn't surprise.
channeled it into a performance. I don't know what
Yeah,
happened there.
it doesn't surprise me because you have to remember someone like Martinelli is like, okay, this is my opportunity now. I have to take it with both hands, and kudos to the guy. He's doing it right now. So I think sometimes
Yeah.
players are thinking, you know
Uh,
what?
uh,
This is an
yeah.
opportunity for us to shine. We need to
Yeah.
take this opportunity.
And I'm gonna add to what you said. I'm
Mm.
hoping Atata love Martinelli the way he loves Smith Rowe and Saka. Even though if Saka is having a really, really bad game or he had a bad game, the following game is still going to be in that squad. He's still going to be
Mm.
playing. But if Martinelli had a really bad game, I don't think it would be in the next. It would be, and again, you know, for I can't remember it, but since Atata has been at the club, the first time he's going to put out the same winning team was the Southampton and West Ham, right? If I'm correct, which is the same team, the same, no changes,
No, he
right?
does it all the time. I don't just know if they win back to back, but he does this thing
No,
all
no,
the
no.
time.
Does
Where
it
when
does he
team
keep the same squad?
keep this, yeah, he's done it a few
It's, yeah,
times.
but yeah, so but I hope he loves Martinelli the way he loves those two guys. Because
Yeah,
those three guys yesterday, oh my God, even though Smith Rowe doesn't start, but Saka and Martinelli, oh my days, that yesterday,
Mercy boy, my boss. No be this thing
mm,
we don't dey talk since. Give Martinelli a chance.
mm-hmm,
We saw Martinelli under Unai Emery, and I don't know many Arsenal fans that don't like Martinelli. The only reason why
Martinelli,
some people started shitting on Martinelli was because Ateta was not using him.
yeah,
So they were saying, why you guys always talking about Martinelli as if he's the savior? But I'm like, you saw this boy under Unai Emery. You saw
and that
what he can
and
do.
under Una Emery,
Let's
Saka is
build.
playing left back. Remember,
Do you understand?
Martinelli is playing
Let's
in front of him.
build on that, right? We've
Yeah,
been shouting and shouting and shouting. Give Martinelli a run of games. Look at now in the run of games. See how the guy,
hmm,
he has been getting into the squad slowly, and now he is there. And you can say, "Oh, I didn't even miss my most expensive player, or
you
I
Mm.
know.
didn't
But
miss,
they interviewed Martinelli
my
yesterday.
captain
I love what the guy said. They asked him a question and he just said, "Oh, we are a team. We stick together."
together."
So it's not all about him. Even though if he scored hat trick yesterday, it's not all
It's
about him.
about
It's
the
about
team.
the
Yeah,
team.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. So I mean, Akuma, I guess to the point you had made was that so a lot of those players, regardless
Mm.
of what's happening, this is their opportunity, and
Exactly,
so they're
yeah.
not letting any of the drama affect them. Then
Exactly, because yeah, but you got to remember, competition is fierce at Arsenal,
It's
especially
fair.
up front
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah.
when you got Aubameyang drop, Martinelli's thinking, hang on a minute, I've got an opportunity now. I have to seize this right now because he
Yeah.
didn't seize it at the start of the season when Lacazette and Aubameyang were not in the squad for the first couple of games. He's looking at now, I have to seize it now. If I don't seize
Yeah.
it now, I'm never gonna seize it, and that's
Hmm.
good on him.
And one thing I like about him, he always run himself to the ground.
Mm.
always,
He
man, that guy he
always,
won't stop
always,
running.
his work
He's a
rate
menace to
is,
any defense
yeah.
because he won't stop.
But the thing is, I don't know why Atata didn't see this anyway. You remember when we played Chelsea, when we are one man down, and when Martinelli pick up the ball in our half, and this is
I mean,
under
that was the
Atata,
goal of the season last season now for
he
us now.
ran, and this is the guy that was shouting his cramp up before he make that run, right? He pick up the ball, he just ran past one of the top midfielder in the league, N'Golo Kante. He make him prostrate. He make him dobale.
Mm.
So you understand what I mean? And he just scored. From there, I thought I should have seen that this boy has got something.
He's a legit guy.
Hmm.
But I
But
mean,
Yeah, but
it is what it
remember,
is
you
now.
have to remember maybe that it was going to happen, but remember a couple of months later he got that massive
He
injury.
got
You have
injured
to, you
yeah,
have to
again.
that's
remember
true. Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm,
I mean, it is what it is. I think we're just excited that the guy is getting his chance now and
mm,
he's
yeah.
playing. So, I mean, that's really all that matters at the end of the day. Anyways, let's move on to some other things, right? This weekend, Arsenal take on Leeds United.
mm.
Um, That's our next game. Now we've won, 2 games in a row. We're sitting in fourth place. Leeds is the next challenge, and Leeds is away from home. So these 2 games we just won, they were at home. Before that, we played United and Everton away from home, and we lost both.
Yeah.
So Even before then, we beat Newcastle at home, but we had lost to Liverpool away. So it seems like our away form has not been good,
Mhm.
for the past, 3-4 games now. And now we
Mhm.
go away to Leeds. Uh, and I'm just gonna go across the room. From starting from Mossy Boy, as Leeds versus Arsenal on Saturday. What are you? How are you feeling about that game?
I think, well, what I would say is, I think we will only just edge it because Leeds, they're struggling. They got quite a few injuries.
They got battered against City.
Yeah, but that is City though. That's Manchester City. Manchester City can do that to any team. You understand what I mean? Talk less
True.
of Leeds that at least five of their first choice player they are out. Kevin Phillips is not there. They're missing some of their centre back due to injury. You know, and I'm sure they will be doing a lot of things for those players to come back before the players. So I'll be thinking maybe probably if Arsenal is going to win that game, they will probably just because of the momentum of the two win games they have in front of them, they will just go to
Yeah,
Leeds and just a little bit edge it. But one thing, the reason why I said that is because Leeds doesn't they play like old Arsenal, which they're not fair to concede goals, but they believe they're gonna score their own goals as well. If you understand what I mean,
Yeah, they
they
just
just leave
attack you
that
from start to
they
finish.
are attacking. Even though if look at them, they are seven nil down to Manchester City. They're still flying forward. I
They're
said
not defending.
we
Like,
still want to
are
go and
you people
score.
trying to die?
To
Can't you
you
see that?
understand what I mean? They're still flying forward. So this is the reason why. This is
Oh
the
my
reason why
god.
Leeds, they are struggling to kind of be at the top half of the table. So when they are playing, they just want to go forward to go and score. So team
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
bang score them, and that will be it. So I think we'll probably edge it like 1-0, I would say.
Oh, okay,
mhm,
Yeah.
okay, interesting. Before we move from there, on Tuesday as well, we now have the game that, if you remember, when we beat, I think it was Leeds. Oh, was it Leeds?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
beat
it was
Leeds. Yeah,
Leeds that we beat in the
we
EFL
beat
Cup,
in the
and
Carabao
then
Cup.
the Southampton the Sunderland manager said that he wants to face Arsenal for some reason. I don't
Man.
know what he was thinking at the time. Maybe
Yeah, no,
that
he said this is
perception that
this is what he
Arsenal.
said. This is
Okay,
what he said, right? I think I think it's Portsmouth or QPR. I don't know who he beat on a penalty shootout. He come through to the next round. It was interview. He said he's going to be good to get one of the big boys in the Premier League, especially either Tottenham or Arsenal. He actually mentioned, and I was like, what is this guy thinking?
yeah, a big QPR.
And on our next show, I just said that this is what this guy said, but I will love it if either I don't care who get this guy, either Tottenham or Arsenal, and my wish come through and they come to Arsenal. If we are playing them, I want Arsenal to show them who is the boss. This
They're
time
coming to the
around,
Emirates as well, which is where
and they're
we've been
coming to
getting good
Emirates as
results.
well. Man,
So
if
it's
Arsenal
not
doesn't
looking good.
beat that team and tell them that, look, go and tell your manager you don't say that to a Premier League team.
mm.
You understand what I mean? And they're in League Two.
So I'm guessing you're feeling very
Man,
confident about the Sunderland game, Mossy boy.
seriously, if Atata doesn't go out there, Atata needs to go out there and he needs to go and do what he did to West Brom when their manager was chatting shit.
Oh yeah, I remember that
You
we beat them
understand that?
4-0.
So he needs to go out there. First half, finish them off, game over. Second half, just go out there and be
Do
professional,
whatever
see
you
the
want to
game out.
do. Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, interesting. Akuma, what about you? The Leeds game and then the Sunderland game.
I think the Leeds game, the fact that Arsenal are quite good defensively and
Mm.
Leeds are just defensively poor, I think Arsenal will shade it. I think Arsenal will win probably quite comfortably because, like Mossy Boy said, Leeds like to come in front of us. And remember,
Mm.
the teams that we struggle with are the teams that do low blocks. Leeds don't
Yeah,
do low blocks.
they
Leeds
don't
don't
do
So
do
that.
low blocks, no.
yeah, exactly. So I think Arsenal will definitely. I think it'll be fairly comfortable
And
on Sunday.
again, if they rush to bring back all their injury player, they
They
probably
will suffer
struggle.
for it as
They'll
well.
suffer for it. Yeah.
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 I hope
So
you're also confident about the Sunderland game, Akuma.
I'm 1000% confident.
yeah, yes, exactly. You have to be.
Okay.
You got to be. I didn't even mention it. That's how confident I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
We keep it moving. Sentiment says Mossy boy Ateta saw Martinelli. He just doesn't like him. Martinelli is a free spirit, not easily controlled like Saka ESR. He will go off script like Pepe. I also hope Ateta learns how to manage these small boys. Or
Mm,
um, it also says the Leeds game is under threat because of rampant COVID-19. And to be honest, I think
mm,
a lot of
I think the games. I think, in all honesty, I think the Premier League should take a 2 week break just to get all these
I
COVID.
was thinking about that as well. Like, are you
man,
sure
it's
you
Yeah,
won't
gonna
just take like a
that
one
2 week
month
break
break or
is gonna give
something?
me. You're
The
gonna
only problem
depression will
is
come. Oh,
this
I beg.
period. No, you see, at the end of the day, a lot of these things they're capitalist. They're capitalist driven as well. This
Mm,
period is the best period to have football games on. It's the
mm,
holidays. People are going to be watching,
yeah,
right?
definitely.
People are going to be so for TV
yeah.
rights. Like this is the good time. So they will be very reluctant to cancel at a time like this, in my
Mm,
opinion. But it looks like for health reasons, the best thing to do now is just in fact, like a 1 month break, just stop everything. Let's, get all these COVID cases down and then we start again. But I don't think
yeah,
that's
but
gonna happen.
what I would say is because you see this football is bigger than the way we are looking at it. You remember then when the first outbreak, when they everything went lockdown, no football, nothing. A lot of people lose their life because they cannot watch the game. They keep them the game that keeps them going to live on. If you understand what I mean. So what I'm gonna say is any game, I would say the game that can be played should carry on. They should carry on playing it. The game maybe probably maybe for example like Leicester today they said there is a COVID outbreak in Leicester in the stadium, so they postponed the Tottenham. So those type of game, yeah, they can postpone it, but Liverpool game went on, Chelsea game went on, and those people can just sit down in front of their TV and just watch those games, and then their life. But a lot of people, this is what they use to kind of to kind of move on with their lives. You understand what I mean? We just shut it down. You see a lot of people just say, "Oh, yeah, I'm depressed. I'm this and that."
Mm.
It's kind of one of those things that the government just have to start to say, "Okay, don't any game that you think that it can be go ahead, you can
You
postpone it."
can postpone it.
Now, all the game that's been postponed, I was seeing it on the Sky Sport News. They started to think, okay, when can this game be replayed? Because they don't want team to have like maybe five,
Too
6 games,
many,
too many
yeah,
games in hand.
Yeah.
yeah,
So they're
yeah,
thinking about that already. So I would say the games that can be played should just carry on, if you understand what I mean.
yeah. I get
So
your point.
yeah,
We obviously offer prayers to everybody that has been
yeah,
COVID
definitely.
positive. Hopefully, this dies down very quickly,
Mm.
and we can go back to enjoying the sports
Enjoy
without all of
and
these
again, just to stop the
worries.
spread, any workplace, we don't know the number of people that will be working. Any workplace that they have the opportunity for their staff to work from home, they should just let their staff work from home, if you understand what I mean, instead of you know people just say, oh yeah, you need to come to the office, and just
Yeah,
let them
Yeah,
work
but
from
exactly.
home.
it's
And
easier said than done because it's a
mm,
multifaceted. It's a good question because it's great to say people should work from home, but
yeah.
people need deliveries, and who's going to be doing the deliveries? If it's the ethnic minorities that are going to be doing it. So
No, no. I'm not talking about delivery. But even though when there is a lot of the first lockdown, delivery company they're still working
They're still
anyway.
working.
They're
Yeah,
still
mm,
doing that. Like they know how to do it. They put it by your door. They're not going
mm,
to. And they will move back, and they will just allow you to open the door to make sure that you actually pick up your parcel. If you
mm,
understand what I mean. So
yeah.
yeah,
they have a protocol to
Oh
all of that
well, I
thing.
mean, honestly, for me, it's just like I just pray every day that we get rid of this
We
COVID
get rid
19
of.
very soon,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
we can go back to enjoying life.
Enjoying life.
Anyways, it's been a great show. I think it's a
Yeah.
good place to wrap up the show for
You know.
today. We look forward to the Arsenal game this weekend. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we can play.
Yeah.
And on Tuesday as well, I expect us to shatter Sunderland. Like, I want them to cry.
I'm telling
I
you.
want it to be one of those games where Ateta just goes crazy on them and just
Mhm.
mm,
like eats them up completely.
I just want Atata to set up a very strong team and just beat them straight up.
Yeah, but we'll
You
see
know.
what happens.
Hmm.
Big ups to everybody who has been with us on the show today. Sentiment, Usman Ali, Randy Viper, Soft Sports, Iman Lifestyle. Shout out to all of you for joining us on the show today. And we'll be back again with more Lasgidi Effect next
Yes,
week.
so
Big
Yeah.
ups to you, the Oracle Akuma,
yes,
and big ups
so
to Pastor Mossy Boy. See
yes,
you next
so.
week, guys. Bye.
Yes. All right. Bye.
Tick tock, time na money. Ori, me, check a shake yori. Licky, come and take me away to the place of my desire.